Well, hello and welcome back to From the Ground Up. I'm your host, Carmen Milagro, and we have a very interesting show for you today. But a lot of people ask, what is a certified CBD consultant, master certified wellness coach, author, and CBD instructor? What are you doing hosting this show? Well, I am an entrepreneurist, and we all start somewhere. Usually, most people start from the ground up. They're dreaming, they're envisioning, they're building that dream piece by piece. And regardless of where you start, the point is when you do start, how do you do it? How do you navigate the challenges of being an entrepreneur? How do you avoid making mistakes? Is that even possible? So, on this show, we interview and invite guests from various countries to hear their stories, to ask their advice, to learn from them, and hopefully be inspired as well. I have the opportunity to speak to and learn from some of the world's most successful people, like today. And we talk about all kinds of things, not just business, but family and hope and wellness strategies, whatever comes up. Some of my guests are CEOs and educators, some are authors, some are musicians and tech gurus, an occasional celebrity or two. Gerardo Porteny is the co-founder and CEO of Grupo EducatHion based in Mexico. His educational efforts are focused on developing global digital learning centers which provide students the knowledge and the skills they need to succeed, not just in their professional lives, but as well as their personal lives. And it's more of a all-around approach to knowledge. He's a sought-after speaker with 4 TEDx talks under his belt, and he has given keynotes on 5 continents. He's co-founded and he leads 21 online universities that teach everything from personal finance, culinary arts, life management, a Nano MBA program, and much more, including our project that we've partnered together on called CBD University. Gerardo has taken every single one of his courses and he's developed a very clear mission to democratize education through technology. Welcome, Gerardo.
Thank you so much, Carmen. I'm a big fan of you, a big fan of the show, and it's a great opportunity to talk with your audience and continue exploring the entrepreneurship field.
Yes, thank you. I know that, as a CEO and you're running multiple businesses, not just in ed tech, but for today, we'll focus mostly on that. I was wondering, well, first of all, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm very happy, very excited about all of the developments that have been happening lately in the educational field, and really understanding that it's a new digital era, the era of artificial intelligence, and very, very busy on ensuring that we not only keep up, but are pioneers on that field in the Hispanic world and beyond.
Right. Absolutely, you are. And where are you today? I know you have different locations. So,
Yes, right now I am in Cuernavaca, just 1 hour and a half from Mexico City. So very, very happy and very also focused and relaxed for this great opportunity to chat with you.
good. Well, thank you. That's what we like. We just like it to be, informative, and we want people to feel comfortable, and we want people to walk away with something, right, that helps them in their life, hopefully. So, if you don't mind, Gerardo, you started at a very early age. You were pretty fearless. From what I've seen, the videos, I did some research, of course, and I saw some of your videos, but clearly education is your passion, it's in your blood. For our viewers that have yet to learn more about you, could you share a little bit about your background, your family history, just so that we can get an idea of where you are today? And we'll dive into that in a little bit.
Well, of course, I mean, I believe that education is the solution from the roots to most of the social and economic problems that we face in the world, right? So I really learned that from my family, starting from my grandmother, which taught for about 40 years in Mexico's top university, and really my great relationship with my mother and my sisters, and of course my dad, which are all entrepreneurs in their own field and their own right. And I really started my journey focused on women's issues. In
Mhm.
particular, when I was in school, and I started this lifelong trajectory of working with schools and students, um, I saw the opportunity of starting a project that developed a pink sweatshirt as part of the uniform of different schools in Mexico City. So I was inspired by how the NFL and the different sport leagues across the world use pink in October. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if us as students also wore pink to support the cause? But that was a very, very incredible project. It developed into a foundation, Pink Life Against Breast Cancer, and it really grew into an educational movement, because what ended up happening was that we not only raised consciousness with the students, but we educated them about the the risk of breast cancer and what they can do against it, right? And most importantly, focusing on surviving it. So they went and for the first time, the kids were educating their mothers and their aunts and their grandmas about this information, both men, male and female, right? So that was very exciting, and we did all sorts of fun things, like we did 2 marathons, and we also started the first racing team in Latin America that was exclusively racing to support the social cause. So that way we involved more men on the fight against breast cancer. So it was, just as a 16-year-old, sort of everything is possible in the world, and trying to figure everything out at once, and doing stuff for that project. And that actually led me to an international journey, and the project got really big, and they started inviting me to different forums to talk about it, right? And one of it was TEDx in Covent Garden in London. And I was actually, sort of, it was a mind shifting, it was a life altering moment to give that talk, but maybe not for the reasons that you think. I It was TEDx Women, and when I arrived there, I thought, there's 12 speakers, and it's TEDx Women. There's obviously going to be me and other 11 speakers speaking about breast cancer, right? Because women issues. And of course, to my surprise, I was the only one speaking of the fight against breast cancer, and everybody else was speaking about gender inequality and women empowerment. And I was so shocked because, speaking about my family background, in my family, I was completely equal to my sisters. And my mom and my dad both, worked and were equal partners in raising the family and in the businesses. And, my grandmothers were so successful. And for me to listen that outside of my bubble, the world was facing such a deep challenge of inequality was shocking, really. So
Sure.
as soon as I got out of that talk, I started my second nonprofit, which is Young Men for Gender Equality, which is actually a 501(c)(3). And then I started focusing on how can we involve men around the world to be a part of the solution, right, for the gender equality cause. And very soon after, after creating a global network around the world of young men that were interested in this, the United Nations was we caught the attention of the United Nations, particularly UN Women, and in a very short way of telling the story, I got invited to be the UN Women Global Consultant of Youth, and I was able to be a part of a very small team that developed a solidarity movement called He for She, that obviously is very well known internationally with Emma Watson as a global goodwill ambassador. So, all of these experiences, to wrap up the answer, kept on pushing me to understand that education was at the heart of every social issue that I was passionate about. And the only way to solve it deeply was educating the youth, educating the children, and educating the adults as well, really. So I
Correct.
think that, it's really not a band-aid solution. It's really, in the depth of the problem. And that's why I become so passionate. And when I learned about the impact that technology could have on education and how it could scale things up, then that ended up, starting my next chapter in my life, which I'm sure
Right.
we're going to talk about today.
And I would like to point out, you did all of this before you were 21.
Yeah, between yes, it was sort of starting right out of the gate, and
Right. And that leads us to, present day. You say your mission is to democratize education through technology. What does that mean to you, and what's that process that you have come up with?
yes, well, first off, I think that the education goes two ways, right? From one end is the experts, right, or the teachers, and from another end is the students. I believe that all around the world there are incredible experts, really such as yourself, Carmen, that have developed amazing knowledge in fields that are not usually taught in the formal academic setting, right? And at the end of the day, there on the other end, there are students that need the knowledge in order to be prepared to face the increasing demands that everyday life puts to young people, right?
Right.
So one of the main aspects of democratizing education is first off, finding the brilliant talent all across the world, uh, all of these amazing experts that have this, ancient technology, these amazing techniques, these pioneering ways of seeing the world. And most of the time, they're not even college professors or school professors, but they're just experts in their field, right?
Yeah.
And developing top-notch, pioneering academic programs with them using the latest technology and using edutainment, which is education and entertainment technologies, and just making these amazing digital learning centers, and then bringing those digital learning centers to the world, in particularly the Hispanic-speaking countries and Latin America, right? So that is the connection that we're trying to do, and you know, I think that what we're also doing, and I just wanted to touch this briefly, is enabling students to develop a love for learning and really an individualized approach to learning, right? Because we can't anymore think that we're going to create a cookie cutter, industrialized education setting, and we're going to have amazing students that are going to be able to thrive in the world. Each student needs to choose their own learning path. And maybe for one student, it's involved on studying, the amazing effects that CBD has on health, along with culinary arts, along with the Nano MBA, along with personal finance course,
Right.
and that is as valid as any other degree, right? So I think that there's no one like oneself that really knows what they love and knows what they need to learn, and we're trying to enable them with the opportunities to do so.
Absolutely. It's perfect. Thank you. I think it's so important. This approach, to me, it's what I've always believed. I come from a public school background here in the US. And of course, I'm dating myself now because things have changed so dramatically. But when I was in school, in elementary, in middle school, in high school, we had the opportunity to learn about all these different topics. We had art, we had, we had wood shop, we had metal, we had drama. So I had a little bit of exposure to all these different things that were going to help me. I didn't know at the time. Of course, you're a child, you're a kid, you're a teenager. You're not thinking about what is my life going to be at 30, 40, or 50. But I do credit that opportunity to have exposure to all these different things that help to create a well-rounded curriculum for myself, not just this is the path for 3,000 kids and you have to get on it. No, I was able to craft my own path. It's not always easy, of course, but I feel like what you're creating here, what your vision is very similar to that. So for me, I feel like it's never too late to learn something new, number one. Number two, it's never too late to learn what you're interested in, and you offer that. It's like this beautiful
Absolutely.
palette of options to learn about things that you maybe would have liked to have been taught in college, but no one was teaching it.
I agree, and I mean, there are things as simple as resilience, and to be resilient, or the science of happiness, where and most of us always say that our objective in life is to be happy, but do we really know what science tells on how to become happy? And I can spoil it for you. The entire course, it's not what you think, right? So we've really been able to find these incredible experts and give them this global platform, um, and I think that it's well, it's really as you said, critical for student success in life to be exposed to different topics, right? What I always say is I hate the students learn lessons in life, let's say financially, the hard way, right? To put it in a nice way. I mean, we shouldn't, if we have kids and young people for so many years in school, we really should be taking responsibility, and taking advantage of that opportunity to teach them all of these amazing things. So, we have uh, a lot of school and university partners that we work with, and I mean, that's the amazing and very exciting part that I really learned in the nonprofit sector. There is really no competition on the field. We can all work together to solve a social issue as big as this, right? So for me, working with schools, working with universities is an amazing way to, make their curriculum, as you said, more well-rounded, but also, for kids, young people, and also adults that aren't part of an institution that is teaching a Grupo Educatius programs, they can also learn about this, and they can also, take the initiative of complementing their knowledge, and then at the end of the day, preparing themselves to live a more successful and fulfilling life.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about the collaboration. You're not in competition. You're actually complementing the current structures and the current curriculums. You're adding value to universities and colleges that work with you, because then
Absolutely.
they're able to offer more to their students than other locations.
I agree. I mean, for us, that partnerships with universities, particularly across Latin America, particularly provinces and not on the big cities that might not have the most, developed the departments on different topics. For us to be able to provide them with a white label, already developed and amazingly taught solution on different topics for them to offer to their students is really, a critical part of our plan on democratizing technology. And it's never you against the world. I mean, those entrepreneurs that think that, it's them against the world and they're going to be able to change the entire system. I think that we've all gone to entrepreneurship conferences and it sounds so easy, right? It says like, you wake up and you're going to get your idea and you're going to be able to change the world. I mean, first off, that puts so much pressure on you, right? Like it's
Correct.
crazy. And then it's really not that easy, and it shouldn't be you against the world. It should be you um, finding the collaborations that you need and the key partners and the team that really takes you to where you want to go. And that's just something that I want to add, right? I mean, we have the opportunity of partnering with experts such as yourself. And I always like to say, I'm not the expert on anything. I just have the luck and the amazing opportunity of partnering with people that know so much more than myself on so much of these needed topics. And at the end of the day, I love a job in which every day you learn something new.
Wonderful. And you're living, breathing, right? Education is in your blood for a reason. This is your purpose and your passion, and you're so good at it. I think one thing that I noticed, Gerardo, about what you offer is the fact that you don't duplicate topics. You have one expert on each topic. Why is that?
I think that we want to really honor the voices that we work with, right? And we really have so much issues to solve that we need to work on different topics, and we need to keep on expanding our educational offering, right? And there's so much needed things. So I think that it's a combination of first, we're very confident that the people that we work with are the best in the world and the top of the class in their subject, and we like to express that appreciation to them and that honor to them of being the only Grupo EducatHion expert on that topic. Secondly, I think it's also the workload of us focusing on how to bring in experts on different topics. But third, as I said before, it's also a collaboration. We have several universities that focus on a topic, have a main partner, which is the main expert, but also have guest experts or new experts coming in the same topic and following the same line, right? So I think that this has enabled us to bring a very serious approach when we're reaching out to universities. They know that they have the Grupo EducatHion seal on the course. It's something that's probably, very high level in terms of the expertise of the content and the technology and all the development. And at the same time, we ensure that the topic is being taught with one, strategy, with one main focus, and at the end of the day, that our only objective is that it achieve its learning objectives, right? That the course achieve its learning objectives, and that the students learn, and that the students' lives are impacted by what they learn, right? So this has been an amazing strategy to ensure that happens.
Yes, thank you. I also happen to know that something else that sets you apart is generally speaking, online courses, a lot of times students, regardless how old they are, the students don't finish, they don't complete the courses there. But you seem to have a, a niche here. You have some statistics and some numbers, if you don't mind sharing with us the
Absolutely.
completion rate that you have.
I mean, one of the things that really sets us apart is that to begin with, students are enrolling into our programs because they want to take the program, right? They want to learn the subject. So when you have a motivated learner, right, and they are willingly taking your course, the chances of them completing the course, and more than that, the chances of them changing their behavior after the course and modifying their habits and bettering their life from it are much higher, right? So that to start with gives us a lot of advantage.
Yes.
Secondly, in every single aspect that Grupo EducatHion works in, which is all the way from instructional design to graphic design to video production, video editing, sound editing, all the way to programming the different aspects of our platform, and obviously selecting the right expert. We are thinking on how we grow the completion rate, how we ensure that our students are advancing in their learning. And finally, which I think is the cherry on top of the cake, which I don't like to speak about the other at the companies in the field, but the reality is that this that that these massive open online enrollment courses um, that don't follow up with the students, right, really have a graduation rate of around 3%. And, this is backed by all of the studies. And if we at Grupo Education, deliver the 3% completion rate, we would be out of business the first month, right? So for us, a very important aspect is being in communication with the students throughout their learning journey, not only in a passive way, ensuring that we receive their questions, we receive their technical support requests, but really in a motivating, proactive way in which we enter in constant communication with them. We ensure that they know the benefits of the program, they are excited about it, they have the right skill sets in terms of setting the time apart, in certain terms of managing stress, in terms of just being, able to manage an individualized learning experience. And we have been able to have amazing completion rates throughout our programs. I mean, over 80%, and we have programs that we have nearly 100% completion rate. And that, I think, is a testament to what we do, and it's a testament to the experts that we're able to work with. And it's just, has been, as I always say, all of what we do, all of our programs, what really Grupo Education is always and will always be in a beta mode. We will always be constantly learning and adapting, right? So really, the where we're standing right now is a culmination of all of the mistakes that we've made in the past, all of the learnings that we've made in the past, and that really has taken us to another level in the online education arena, right? Ensuring that we have programs that succeed in their objectives.
Great. Thank you. Beautiful. I think that pretty much wraps up our time together, Gerardo. But before I let you go, first, thank you. Of course, I know that you probably have a meeting right now that I need to let you get to, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for doing what you do, because I do feel like this is something that is so important, not just for ed tech in general, but specifically for our community. You are reaching out to the entire Latin Americas, as well as Europe and Canada and the US, of course. But for me personally, I think that sometimes it's great to be at the top of the curve, to be leading the pack. Our community, there's so many of us, not just here in the US, but around the world that are a part of this community that you created for learners. And we're not at the tail end, at the back end, we're right there with you. So thank you for that. How do people learn more about what you're doing? How do they connect with you?
I very much appreciate, Carmen, this opportunity and every opportunity that I had with to talk with you. Really, I end up learning so much, and I end up really having such a great time. I can't believe that
I know.
our time is up already. I thought that we had like we were just
I know.
starting. It goes up so fast, and it's so exciting always. The first thing I want to say is yes. I mean, the Latino community and the Latinx community in the U.S. and throughout the Hispanic-speaking countries, we're really coming together, and we're really creating a movement in education through technology, right? So I think that that is a massive point that you raise, and we're staying ahead of the curve, and we have so many instructors. I mean, basically, I would say 99% of our instructors are from the Latinx and Latino community, right? So I think that is something amazing to be able to highlight those incredible talents, as I mentioned, such as yourself in your field in CBD University, right? And secondly, I want, I'm sure you can add this in the description. I'm very communicative on social media. My hashtag is @gporteny, as you can see on my last name. That's @gporteny. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and I'm more than happy to talk. I'm more than happy to learn from your audience and everything that they have to share. And of course, they can also follow Grupo EducatHion or just take a look at our website, which is www.grupoeducation.com, which they can also see on my handle below. And I just wanted to mention something, Carmen. I wanted to let everybody know that I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this interview and thinking that they have something to teach, right? And that they really have developed an expertise that could help so many other people in their lives, right? And maybe they haven't had the opportunity to do so. So I really want to encourage everyone that knows that you have something to teach, even if you don't have teaching experience, even if you don't, even if you haven't developed content, even if you haven't authored the book, but you know that you have the incredible experience, that you have developed amazing know-how, that you have been able to, through something that live a more fulfilling life. I want you to encourage either through Grupo Education or through anyone else to really teach that subject. You can reach out to us, and we're more than happy to speak with you and ensure how we can take it to a global community. But also, I want to finish by saying all of us have something to learn. None of us know everything, not even ChatGPT, right? So I think that we need to be lifelong learners. We're all we're all our definition of youth, to say it another way, is our capacity to keep on learning. It doesn't matter your age, but if you continue learning, you're going to be young, forever young, like the song says, right? So I really want to encourage everyone to keep on learning and learn the different subjects that maybe they didn't have the chance of learning in an academic setting through Grupo EducatHion offering, or anybody else's offerings, because there's no reason why you should learn the lessons of life the hard way. Right? There's so much of an easier way to do that. So really, if you have something to teach, teach it and ensure that you keep on learning every day of your life. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, Carmen. It's always been such a pleasure and such a delightful experience to learn from you.
Thank you, Gerardo. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for what you're doing. You are literally changing the world for so many people. And from my heart, thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Carmen.
Thank you. We will see you again. I can't wait to see what else we're going to do together. We can talk about that later. Bye, Gerardo. Thank you. Gracias. Adios.
Bye.
And everyone else who stayed with us, I hope that you were able to be inspired. I think this was one of our most inspiring conversations that I've had to date. You know when someone is speaking from their heart. You know when someone is transforming the world. They're leading with their heart. From a very young age, that is what today's guest, Gerardo Porteny, has done. And he's continuing to do it on a global level. So I don't think there's any excuse for any of us not to reach out and to connect with people and to do good in the world. If a 16-year-old can do this and keep on doing it, then so can the rest of us. I think that for me is one of the greatest inspirationals, that I've had in quite a long time. So again, I think that if you would like also more information for our CBD University project, you can go to www.mycbduniversity.com, and I'll see you there. But again, thanks for staying with us. I appreciate you. I hope that even if one person's life is changed today, that's why I do this. This is why this is so important. As always, the episodes that we create for you are sponsored by Divina, and I will see you next time on From the Ground Up. I'm Carmen Milagro.